Hey everybody, welcome to the last broadcast where a podcast where we will analyze, dissect real life people experience for ghost encounters. So this is our very first episode, okay, from the last broadcast. Not every single signal is meant to be found. Right now with your host, myself, the elusive Han, okay, and of course my co-host, the mysterious K. Okay, so basically we are going to read about a story from Reddit, right, by a boy, 16 years old boy, mind you, in Norway. So he has an experience regarding about creepy voice message. So what a way to start off with the first episode, right? Okay, so I will be reading to you the first few chapters, right? And Kay will give you more insights about how we are going to move forward with this, okay? So the starting point of this section, because his English is really bad, so we use ChatGPT to correct some grammars and make it a simplified version so everybody can understand, okay? So the first segment is called A Strange and Frightening Voice Message. Hello, I'm a boy from Norway, soon turning 16. I became a Christian 2 years ago, and what I'm about to share is a true story that still scares me. About a voice message that turned into something completely different, something demonic. Wow. Okay, that's crazy, yeah? So, going to next segment, Childhood and the Basement. I was born in 2009. After I was born, my parents brought me home to the basement of my grandparents' house. In 2013, we moved out but returned to the same basement in late 2014. My parents separated in 2015, and that's when I started to feel afraid all the time. I constantly felt like I was being watched. I couldn't sleep without the lights on, something I had never troubled with before. Between 2015 and 2022, while living in that basement with my mom, many strange things happened. So not much to talk about there, so I'm gonna move on. Okay, so this is the unexplained incident that the user had with. One night, while my mom and I were asleep, the Google Home speaker in our bathroom suddenly played loud folk music in a language we didn't recognize. It startled us so much that we ran upstairs to check if our grandparents were playing a trick on us, but they weren't. Another time, my Syrian friend came over. While we were joking around in Norwegian near the same speaker, it suddenly said something blasphemous against God in Arabic. My friend, who understood it clearly, looked shocked. We later translated the phrase, and it was truly disturbing. Also, while sleeping in the guest room upstairs, I would often hear 2 or 3 knocks on the window at night, just once each night. My grandfather and I checked outside several times but never found anything that could have caused it. Wow, that's very creepy. Okay, would you like to enlighten us about this particular segment, since the user from Reddit mentioned very keyword like Arabic words against God? Okay, something had to do with a Google Home speaker, like a radio wave frequency. And the last one will be knocking on the window. Can you explain to us a little bit?
All right, yeah. So basically, the unseen creatures, I classify them as that? People may know them as jinns. People may know them as they have many definitions to it, ghosts, etc., etc. So it's just only one word, and it's from its former text, which is all written in Arabic. That is where it's from. So basically, hearing such things from creatures like that, and to a point of hearing knocks on your doors and stuff like that, these are all demonic action. Going towards demonic, they have their own variation as well. But in this case, I think the boy is actually undergoing something which is actually disturbing. It could be something which the family actually has, which the boy is uncertain of, or it could be another way. where actually this particular sort of wandering ghoul or wandering demon has a part of habitual with the kid itself. So therefore, or shall I say, due to those reasons, he's actually given the ability to, number one, first to be hearing it. From hearing, it will then develop into sights. So yes,
Okay,
let's
thank you,
hear more.
Kay. Thank you, Kay, for that huge insight. So I will just give it some layman term for some people who may not understand or who never experienced with supernatural encounters. So they were wondering what is Kay talking about. So what Kay is talking about is something very simple for us Asian, which is very common. Sometimes family like to keep barang, some demonic stuff, or the Malay call it pusaka. Pusaka is called cursed heirlooms, or rather blessed heirlooms, right? Where they are attached with a demonic entity or entity in general, or it could be right an entity she latched onto the boy. So no matter what, right, that's why he always feels like he's being watched. Unexplained things happening, knocking on the window. So in Asia, right, especially Southeast Asia, this is very common where a jinn slash entity like to play with the window at night. So these are the things. So it's also very interesting, right, that all around the world, okay, in Norwegian, in Norway, right, this entity is actually speaking in Arabic. Okay, I'm not too sure whether they are specifically attacking so the Syrian friend can understand, or they want this boy, right, to understand through his friend. So it could be other way around. So there's always reasons to it, right? So that's reason number one, how it makes sense. And before you guys wondering, right, oh, it could be a glitch. Some skeptic would like to say, because this is through Google Home speaker, right? Someone with a radio frequency or radio, any form of radio, right, could intercept. What are the chances if that were to be the case? Suddenly, a pilot flew over Norway, and then their black box happened to be intercepted by a Google Home speaker. That is something that is unlikely to happen. So let's move on to the story. Next segment will be moving away and a new encounter, okay? So in 2022, I moved to my dad's house on the other side of the country. But in 2023, I had another terrifying experience. This time while watching a video about a haunted doll called Peggy in a demonic objects hotel. Just seeing her face disturbed me deeply. So in August 2024, during summer break, I was back in the basement with my mom and my stepdad. My little sister was born on 13th August. I'm not too sure why they put the time, so I'm not going to put the time there, because reasons, because right, black magic practitioner can use your birth date, okay, year, and then of course time to manipulate stuff like your luck and whatnot. Okay, then moving on to the story. Later that day, I visited her and came back home to sleep. Again, alone in the basement. At around 10 p.m, I was chatting with friends on Discord. I sent a voice message from my phone. The first one sounded normal, but the second message, which I recorded in the bathroom, was terrifying. I expected it to sound the same as I recorded it, but when I played back, it changed completely. The message was full of random screams, followed by a woman voice saying something something that sounded like ogre. Or Oga, whichever how you want to pronounce that. I was scared but unsure what to do, so I tried to forget about it. Okay, this is a very good segment. We can take a short break here to talk about. Okay, Kay, can you enlighten the viewers, right? Why doing stuff like recording in the bathroom, right, is something that us people from Singapore or Malaysia or Indonesia, right, would very well avoid doing, like record yourself in the bathroom or record voice message in the bathroom. Why it is very, very, we call it pantang, something that you shouldn't do. So can you enlighten us on that?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Basically, it's simple. Places like that is actually, your toilet is actually dirty and stuff like that. So, entities will actually like to hang around in places or conditions that actually meets those requirements, because those areas are basically something which is very very dirty in that sense. So that's the reason why, while having a bath or while doing your business, is not advised to actually have your phone call in while doing so. I mean, maybe first few rounds you will feel that it's nothing, no big deal, and you start to make it as a habit. But eventually, when habits is unbreakable and you are actually in continuation with doing such an item, you will then come across with certain things like small whisperers, small enlightenment of voices, or maybe sometime the network got cut down, etc etc, and this will become a very hindrance thing to you. Yes, so yeah, try not to have phones or communication while in the toilet, especially in the toilet, because
Thank
that
you.
is not a place for us to be with.
Thank you, K. Again, guys, for anybody in Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia, parents often would say to us, don't do this, don't do that, because that is a reason, like K mentioned, the toilet is a place of filth, a dirty place where, in our belief, right, jinns or entities love to reside at dirty places. So when you are playing with all this, right, then guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna hear some unexplained noises, sounds, or even encounters like visual encounters, sound encounters, or even other senses like you are feeling somebody touch you. This is very very common. So Kay just explained it wonderfully. So we can move on, because that part is already explained. So next segment will be what it really said. Okay, on 24th June 2025, after watching a horror and a mystery videos, I decided to revisit that voice message. I ran it through ChatGPT and asked it to analyze the sounds across multiple language, especially Old Norse. Wow, that's very interesting. Okay, hold on. The translation that came back was terrifying, and here's what the voice possibly said. I call you from the blood. You are blood. May they come from the darkness. Thus, Urus, Kaun, Node. These are the Norse runes name. Thus meant demonic chaos. Urus means raw power. Kaun or Kon, or how you want to pronounce it, pain and sickness. And Nod or Node, it means need, danger, and destiny pressing down. So, I like how this boy, right, although he's 16 years old, but he's thinking outside the box. He's thinking like, hey, I don't know this sometime old language, old ancient language they are speaking. Let's try to decipher, which is, I applaud him. He's very brave of that boy to do that. Or because if you are not careful, you can really go crazy, from this. Later, I let Kate explain why I said that earlier, okay? Because some message, right, is really not meant for you to decipher, to find, because your mental state or your spiritual state, right, you're not ready to receive such things. This is why some message have power in them that could hurt you, could paralyze you, could make you go crazy. Okay, so can you explain a little bit so why I mentioned like it's best not to decipher or understand certain message although you want to find out?
Yeah. Okay. Firstly, number one. Before going into those contexts, what sort of understanding do you have? That is a very important. Number one. Before we actually go into context. Number two, are you equipped with the right knowledge? Furthermore, to actually move on or to carry out a cast, because certain casts require certain knowledge or certain understanding onto how things are actually being done. You can't just cast it out like that. The consequences are severe. It's not something which can be undone. And yes, please think it through, guys. Think it through before you want to carry out any activity if you do not have the understanding or knowledge to its background.
Thank you, Kay, again
Yep.
for the insight. That's very, very important for especially youth nowadays. That every time want to explore, every time want to, be a ghost investigator. Guys, I know being a ghost investigator, especially on TikTok, is like cool and all. Especially when you're making money of it. But is it really worth it to be could be permanently haunted through your whole lineage? It's not worth it lah. Okay, so we always try our best to deter I would say curious youth, right? That thinks that, or because they're young, anything can just call ustad or medium or shaman or anyone. You thought that who can heal you through spiritual. Not every healer. This is a fact, guys. Not every healer can heal you completely. Maybe for that moment, but the entity will always come back. So you have to be careful. So these are the last part of the story. Okay, this is the final thoughts of this boy. Okay, continue on. It says, that scared me deeply. My friend and I prayed together afterward. I don't want anything demonic to affect me, my family, or anyone else who may live in that basement. If anyone is reading this, knows more about demonic experience, please share your advice. I also appreciate any tips on how to get rid of this presence. Thank you for reading. Okay, so again, I'm going to try my best to see if I can personally message this guy to see if I could, give some tips or something to find out, because number one, I'm not too sure what is his religion or his belief, right? So he did mention he is Christian. So if you are a believing Christian, right, I would say try to go to your Christian father lah, the one that in charge of demonic possession, because I know Christianity has a lot of department in that category. So you can try to ask them, and if it doesn't work, I would recommend, be open mind, try from a different healer instead, different religion background, to see whether if that helps you, because not everything that you do can do anything. Sometimes when you try to ask your ustad or whatsoever, you can make the entity more angry, and you can have a possible worse experience than what you're experiencing. So Kay, can you please enlighten us on these final thoughts, so before we move on to the second story?
Yeah, so basically, short and simple, just, if you do not know anything, just do not do anything crazy, so that you can actually avoid all these sort of things. But if you are already happen or ongoing or in the process of such things, then you may want to actually go to your nearest church, and or for those for, as mentioned, as you are a Christian, and get some help out from there. Know which channels that you are actually going to, and hopefully that you will be blessed in every, and remember not to get yourself or your hands in, as what we have already mentioned. Things like this is not something which even ourselves want to be in, but because we have a certain knowledge over a certain field, that's the reason why we are creating this awareness. So yes, hopefully none will have to actually undergo or suffer this sort of thing. It's not easy on our end to actually be holding on to such things, or to be actually going out, or to actually be finding for you guys on all the clues, because we ourselves at the end of the day will also be as in touch, or basically something which is you may not be in the point of able to understand or grasp the stuff that actually that is going to happen. So yeah, we try to actually keep things to a nominal, and from there we can see the brighter of our days.
Okay, thank you, Kay, for that last final thoughts on that story from that boy. Okay, so now we're going to move on to story number 2. Okay, this is by an anonymous person, but because this guy or this person did not identify themselves as a man or woman or whatever gender they may be. So we're just speaking as a human point of view. Okay. So this is about is the title about this person write by himself is this normal or should I be concerned? Question mark. Okay. So he believe. Okay, sorry. This person believes they have a spiritual connection, a strong spiritual connection. Okay, guys. Some people, right, like myself and Kia, we don't ask for this, but we sometimes feel strongly about certain things, and that certain events, right, sometimes really occur. You know, sometimes we feel like, hey, today not be a good day, and then suddenly, really a not good day, something bad event happen. Example. Okay, not to say we both psychic or what. Disclaimer, we are not psychic. We're not telling you that we got special power or anything, can super heal people or whatsoever. We just happen to be in a situation where you know, unexplained things happen, and then we research on it. We actually go through with people who did all this for a living, to get a better insight. So our answers, right, and our experience actually holds weight. Okay, holds weight, but not so much lah as a maybe as a spiritual practitioner, those who really, you know, goes out for a possession case. Okay, so I start with the story now. So I believe I am quite spiritually connected, especially to ghosts and the paranormal. I'm not trained in anything psychic, but I often sense things others don't. My mom is what you call a little witch. Ooh, this is very, very, very interesting. She can communicate with spirits in her dreams, although she chose not to. I had past experience with speaking to the dead, but now I'm wondering, are the things I experience just strange coincidence? Or are they ghosts trying to get my attention? Here's a list of what I've been dealing with. Before I get to the list, guys, let me just talk about this. Okay. Whoever you are, if you happen to come across our video, doesn't mean your mom has a, you know, a sensitive energy. She is automatically a witch. As long, number one, to classify as a witch, number one, you are a black magic practitioner, or you are a spiritual practitioner in any form of way. Okay, you know how to craft some potions. Potion meaning, like to say, like the corpse oil and whatnot, or maybe potion of healing or whatever. And of course, you know how about the ingredient, where to find this ingredient, and you will be able to know what kind of spirit you are communicating with. Okay, so this is how you classify a person as a witch or a spiritual healer or whatever you want to call them. Okay, but I'm just saying that some people, okay, this guy might be like us. We don't ask for this, but sometimes you are able, you know, to do unexplained things, because it's just happened. So okay, this quite literally hits home with you, especially what this guy is sharing, or this person is sharing. So it's really crazy. So any insights on this portion before I move on?
Nah, there's not. Let's move on. Let's see more about it.
Okay, so here's are the things, right, that this person is listing of whatever they're dealing. Okay, number one is hearing voices while falling asleep. That is very common because he heard someone say, "Hey," right next to his ear, and makes that person jump. And the mom says there are spirits trying to reach out. I mean, like, not trying to be rude to your mama, but no shit lah. Okay, yeah, when you hear something say "hey" or "ha" or "hi," that's very common. That thing wants your attention. Okay, not much on that for K to comment. Okay, number two, random pain in left forearm. This is something juicy. Okay, can you please highlight on this? Because the person says they might sometimes they get a pulsing pain in the left forearm with no clear cause of what happens.
Alright, yeah. Okay, so this is very common. Having some pulsation there could be two ulterior on this thing, two movements, which is number one, the entity has already went through the body of the person. That's why you are receiving the pulsation through where that particular location that the entity is moving. And number two, the entity is trying to go into. So there's two ways to look at this. Yep.
Okay, thank you K for that insight. So yes, so okay, next one will be itchy feeling at the back of my head. That is also very common. So I'm not going to go into it. So if you guys are wondering why you feel the itchy sensation, it's because sometimes entity might be touching you, just to get your attention, to irritate you, or it's just that you are very sensitive that you already start to feel the hair at the back of your neck, that you felt the itching sensation. Then next one will be feeling watched in a curious way. Okay, this person say often felt like someone is watching me, but not in a threatening way, looking at someone who isn't there. Okay, Kay, can you please enlighten on this part?
Looking at someone that isn't there. Yes, sometimes we may have that feeling that someone is actually looking at us, but in reality, that object is not there. But if you were to look it into a spiritual way, there are many entities that's actually looking at anyone at any time. But it's just that the feeling that oneself have to actually be having that sort of like knowing that this is actually coming from my senses, knowing that there is something actually behind my back, or there is something actually at the corner of my eyes and stuff like that. And what that is been recorded, or what that is been taken down or note down at whatever that you have actually undergo, is something which is real. It's not something which is sort of like we can brush it away. Yep.
Okay, thank you Kay. So what Kay is trying to say, I make it simplify for you guys again, for those people who never have experience with supernatural. What Kay is trying to tell you is, right, when your body senses, your biological body it senses something is there, is your instinct, okay, your human instinct on. So the ringing in ears, wow, this is very all these confession, I mean not say confession, all these experience that this person get, right, it's all linked up to two, I mean like basically one kind of, not say one kind of entity one kind of category of entity, which is called the jinn, because for us Muslims, especially in Southeast Asia, right, the ringing in ears is very very common, especially when you are having a supernatural encounter. So what is the main reason for it? Most people can't really tell you why it is the case, but we believe that the jinn has always have a reason with all of this. Kay, do you have any insights on the ringing in ears?
Yes, many times. Let me define that ringing in the ears. Don't get this wrong. Sometimes ringing in the ears could be a medical issue. It's something that you are having, a pain in your ears that you are receiving that ringing. Other than that, there is variations to this ringing of the ears. If you actually receive the ringing from your left side, means that is not a good news. But if you receive ringing from the right side, that means that that is a good news. So there is difference between left and right. And why are we getting this ringing? Because sometimes, number one, this normally happens between angel and demons. So our frequencies are not matched to them. That's the reason why the ringing happens, or the ringing occur. And due to the directions that where you are hearing, be it left or right, as we all know, left is not a good thing to actually have, and right is something which is, they are telling you something, but at that point of time, your frequency does not match what that they have actually wanting to tell you about. But with due time, you'll be able to see the good rewards or the bad stuff accordingly. Depends on where the ringing actually happens.
For that insight, because I don't have much experience with ringing in ear. I mean, like I have but not to the point like K understanding. Okay, so let's move on with the next one. Says constant overheating. Okay, this is very very common. This is likely could be a demonic possession, or a soon to be demonic possession. Or that means the thing is latching onto you. That's why your body is always like extra warm. Okay, very simple. Like if you guys wondering, how can an entity latch onto you, then your body feels overheated? Okay, imagine like you and your friend and your other friend, right, all hugging each other. Your body feeling hot, not? So it's the same logic. So if another being on top of another being tap onto each other like this, right, this is where the overheating will feel. Okay, you can feel the energy from that thing, and that thing will feel your energy also. But in reality, they are sucking your life force, or doing something to you that we may not know at that point of time, but what I can tell you is for sure you will definitely have fever. That's why we will always say when you have a supernatural encounter, why the people, the first thing first they have is fever. So this definitely proves that that theory lah, that sometimes when you are having feverish, that doesn't mean you're having fever, but from sickness, but it's just that something passed by you or something's latching onto you. Okay, not much going on there. Next one is sudden hunger or thirst during spiritual moments. Again, this is very common when something's trying to latch onto you, because again, two people in one body, you feel more hungry, you feel more thirsty because your stomach is expanded. So, Kay, do you have anything or not? Because this person say that they hear voices and get the itch at the back of the head, right? And then suddenly they become hungry and thirsty, although they just eaten and felt full. Can you explain to us in this sense?
Okay, sure. Basically, when a possession takes place or happen, you will always feel thirsty and hungry. This is being that's not by you, but is by the item that possess you. So this entity, this particular entity that is actually in your body, is be able to actually get all this food, and it will constantly actually makes you on thirst and stuff like that. Because number one, they do not have any body or any natures of like how a human body actually works. So their main line or their main stuff is actually focusing on more onto a self-relentless piece of that does not need any thirst and hunger for that duration of moment. But however, when they actually seek into a person's body or into a human's body, then things change, and due to that things change, these beings are always on their top, to be very greedy and stuff like that. So that's the reason why you'll be having those sort of thirst and unstoppable eating.
Thank you, Kay, for that insight. So what Kay is trying to tell you in a very layman term, that when something latch onto you, that doesn't, I mean that when he meant possession, that doesn't mean you are not in control. It's just that that thing is inside you. That's why he meant by possess. So automatically, although you feel full, right, but that thing has insatiable hunger and thirst, so they don't know when to stop. They always want to eat. Ever heard of the hungry ghost story? So something very similar. Okay, these entities always want to makan. They want to stop. They're not like us humans. We have a physical limit. Well, their body has no physical limit whatsoever. They are different on how they are brought up to lah. How they are created is totally different. If you want to find out why this entity is brought up really different, right, I recommend for everybody who's not a Muslim to be open-minded, right, and then read out about the jinns, how the jinn was created, number one and foremost, and how the reason why they are feeling this way and why they are doing like this, right. Again, all this we are trying to connect is making sense. I'm not trying to say whichever religion is facts or whatsoever. No, I just want to let you guys have a better insight view on like how we try to understand certain scenarios, certain place from different religion, background, cultures and whatnot. Okay, let's move on. So, okay. Then this person is still mentioning about the hunger, okay, which I think we already talked about already. So the last one is about a specific spirit that feels very playful. Okay, so this person says that there's one spirit I sense often. They make me feel anxious, but not because I feel unsafe. More like I'm meeting a stranger who's very friendly, but overwhelming like an introvert meeting an extrovert. These spirits makes me feel like a bit silly and playful when they are around. And the last thoughts on this says, I'm not sure what I'm going through is normal or for someone who's spiritually sensitive, or if it's something I should be more concerned about. If anyone have a similar experience or advice, especially for those who are familiar with paranormal or spiritual practice, I appreciate your thoughts. Okay, thank you so much for inputting this. Okay, well, I will give my insights on the spirits that is playful, which I recently experienced. Spirits who are playful tend to be a child spirit or a kid spirit, right? Okay, they tend to be playful. They like to do things that don't make sense, one. Unlike the adult version of a spirit entities, where they literally have purpose and they have reasons why they're bothering you, either through black magic or you do something to disrespect them, or someone plays special stuff, magical things around the house or around the area. That's why they are there with a purpose. Okay, then regarding to your advice, I will give you one advice, okay. If you are spiritually sensitive, should you be concerned? The answer is yes, because you need to understand how to keep yourself safe also, because they might use your body as a, as a energy conductor, and then so you can feel drained, you can feel all these unnecessary things, and then eventually will lead to even more deeper possession, okay, and that can be very bad for you. So that is my advice, my take. Okay, can you advise on this person about your insights also about a spirit that is very playful, and should this person feel concerned?
This field of world, you are not actually alone. We are open to many dimensions. Spiritual, playful, yes, it could be from a nature of a child, it could be from a nature of an adult, it could be from a nature of many ways, but those are actually their characteristic. They are always playful, but playful tense. We have to actually see whether that is playful is actually being harmless, or playful which is actually being at the point of harm. So there are two categorization in which we have to take note. If it does not harm us, if it does not do anything, it's just for the sake of being there and stuff like that, that's common. But it comes to a point of harming us, that is not common. That is something which we ourselves have to also upguard ourselves. We have to find proper expel to those sort of demonic creatures, because in nature they are not supposed to even come close or even to a point of having in touch with us. But why are we able to feel that or to have that is because the nature of our frequency could be low, could be matching with them, or either that our inner self is at the point of its weakness.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, guys, these two stories that we got is actually from real life people, and our podcast is always about real life experiences, be it whether it's something that is weird, unexplained, or something just simply that doesn't make sense. So if you guys are interested, okay, and you guys want to share, contribute, and or whether you guys are curious about what are your encounters meant and how it can be analyzed carefully, like how we do it here with pure respect from different backgrounds, different beliefs. Although both me and K are Muslims, but we don't say that our religion correct, everything else wrong. No. Our belief is our belief, your belief is your belief. But I would say we believe their experience, their story is true, because what they experience also makes sense with what we understand about the jinns. Okay, so if you guys felt something that is very similar to what they are feeling, don't feel alone, don't feel scared, come to us, talk with us. You don't have to be on our podcast. You can just email us in. The description I will put in our business email, so you guys can contact us from there. Okay. If you guys have any specific questions, either for K or myself, okay, you can just put in accordingly lah. Alright, K, any final notes before we end today's episode?
Yeah, the only thing that I can actually say is be safe out there. Don't do things which is stuff that you do not know. And yes, the rule of thumb is basically to just be at a noble position.
That's very good. That's very kind of you, K. Okay, so basically, guys, again, this has been a wonderful first episode. Very bone chilling, very crazy. Guys, just now as I was reading, I was literally having like goosebumps all over my forearm. It was really crazy. I would show to the screen, but you guys can't really see because I don't have much hair. But I can really felt it. Really felt it. It's really crazy, especially when the first story one is very creepy. Okay, so again, guys, before we end this note with a good weird one, I would like to share you guys something. Okay, when you are feeling something is watching you down the street, down the alley, or down the hallway, during your apartment, car park, or whatever, First of all, just keep walking. Whatever you hear, ignore. And the last one is hope it doesn't follow you, because you might hear footsteps. This is in from the last podcast. Not every signal is meant to be found. Goodbye, guys.